I'm your host, Locum23. You're joining me for the Rake and Recluse, Chapter 23. Lilly. You're in the parlor at Roxley House, wringing your hands as Perry frets and Gideon paces. I was right there with her. How could this have happened? You waited for Francine to return to you for an unnecessary long time. Eventually, you decide to go looking for her yourself. You'd searched every aisle, back and forth, calling out her name in your panic. But it was no use. Francine is gone. It's been nearly 2 hours. It has to be Hedberwalt. I should have known better. I never should have let her go. Let her what, Gideon? Barry catches his brother by the shoulders. If you try to control her, you lose her. There is nothing you could have done differently. Let's not waste time on what we cannot change. The Duke scowls, but makes no retort. Lilly, do you remember anything out of the ordinary? Well, I should tell them what we were doing, tell them what we were discussing, ask how such a thing could have... Shut up with that. What we were doing? We were merely looking at books. It was a public shop. Nothing seemed strange. It was such a thing... If such a thing could happen in broad daylight... You shudder. If it's anyone's fault, it was mine. No, Lilly. It is. I knew Hedberwalt what was about. I should have watched out for her. It's my duty. Gideon fixes you with a firm look. No, Lilly. Francine was never your duty. Even when you were my servant, she is a woman of her own mind, who can rarely be stopped from doing what she wishes. Well said, Giddy. At that moment, there's a knock on the door. A constable steps into the parlor. Your Grace, I beg your pardon for interrupting, but... Not at all. Tell me what you found. His expression is grave, his eyes downcast, he hesitates. Out with it, man. But Gideon doesn't speak, he's gone pale with fear. We have a body in the morgue, matching your description. Barry's arm tightens around you. You're too stunned to react. Gideon's expression goes cold. I see. He looks like a statue. His expression has not changed at all, but his eyes are wide with terror. Take me to the body. Without another word, the Duke departs with the constable. You're too stunned to react. It can't be her. It can't be Francine. I should... Faint, reassure Perry. Perry, what should we do? Is there anything we can do? You stare into Perry's somber eyes. He looks as lost as you feel. He takes your hand in his, and you sink side by side onto the seat. The best we can do now is wait, and support Gideon, should he need it. We will all need it. You do not know how long you remain in Perry's arms, the silence weighing heavily on you both. After what seems like an eternity, Perry speaks. At the park, after you ran from me, I was terrified. I tried to tell you in my own way that my intention was to court you. Your heart begins to flutter in your chest. What does he mean? To take you to wife. He does. Lilly, I cannot wait. I will not survive another day, not knowing. I won't have you attending balls without me on your arm. I will not let you out of my sight without first putting my ring on your hand for everyone to see. Presses a kiss to your knuckles. You can scarcely breathe. Lilly, will you be my wife in name and in deed? Will you take up honorable residence in my house? Will you bear my children and raise them as you see fit? God damn you, sir. You are a man, and I like you. I like the cut of your jib, as they used to say. Will you make me the happiest man in all of Great Britain, in all the United Kingdom, even if means we live happily, ostracized life in the country? He watches you with such earnestness, such pleading. I do not know what to say. I should... Accept! Oh, Perry. You feel tears spring to your eyes. You squeeze his hand tight. Everything in you is leaping to say yes, but before you can... Gideon barges in. God damn you, Gideon! We're so happy to hear it's not her, but we were having a moment. Could you leave for a minute? It was not her. He's pale and shaking with relief. Perry cast you with a regretful look before swinging to face Gideon. Then if she's not in the morgue, she must be with Hebbleward. I can't help but wonder which is worse. He must have taken her in order to fulfill the terms of his contract. Perhaps to his townhouse in London? You shake your head. No, Hebbleward is a thoughtful man. I'm sure he has the license prepared before he took her. In which case, the safest place for him is his estate. You nod. Perry, prepare to leave at once. We'll take the first train out of London. I can't, brother. Yeah, the Duke's jaw drops. I'm sorry? Perry looks sorrier. He shakes his head. I'm sorry, Gideon. I cannot leave Lilly in London unattended. And we're all gonna go together. Gideon blanches, but doesn't argue. There's a squirming low in your gut. I know the Duke will need Perry to confront Hebbleward, but to go with him may mean confronting him myself. Am I ready to face the man who attacked me? I should... If I bite my lip any harder, I'll draw blood. We're doing it. Tell the brothers I'm ready to face my demons. Resolve settles firmly across your shoulders. It's time I stop running. I will no longer allow myself to be cowed by the likes of Hebbleward. If I had the courage to confront him the night of the ball, perhaps none of this would have happened. And I refuse to allow Francine to endure what I have. You plant your hands on your hips. I'm coming with you. It's time Hebbleward pays for what he's done. The Duke looks stunned, but Perry is beaming with pride. Well, I'd say that settles it, wouldn't you, Giddy? Indeed I would. We ride for Hebbleward. You linger only long enough to pack your bags and change into a peasant dress. A gunmetal gray cameo dress. I like the name of it. Gunmetal. Because she's fiery and finally confident. Ooh, that's more modern. Sapphire blue corseted dress. Peasant dress, why not? Why we already just spent diamonds. And you're off, trying not to think about the terror that lies ahead. You arrive at the station, feeling as if it's a journey designed just for you. For justice, mayhap even vengeance. Gideon checks his watch. It would be a bit of a trek, but if Hebbleward is in a carriage, hopefully we can catch up. I insist the two of you take my private car. Giddy, no protests. I commissioned it for myself and Francine for a honeymoon. The dark gaze cuts sharply away. I could not bear to look at it now. Harry nods, squeezing his brother's arm. Very well, thank you. Harry guides you into the seclusion of the private car. We plan to christen it. P stands for... It reminds you of the first train ride you took with Perry. Look how far we've come since then. You take a seat on the sofa. Perry's back is to you. He seems to be in a trance, staring out the window as the landscape races by. You mean to ask him what's the matter when he spins on his heels and says, "It's time I spoke with your father." Your jaw drops. Well, back then it was to ask your father for your hand in marriage. Insist that it's not necessary. Oh, Perry, you shouldn't really. I do not even know how I would begin to explain us. He looks wounded, and you rush to lay a hand on his chest. I don't mean it that way. He would love any man who helped me as much as you have, but perhaps we could avoid dwelling on particulars. He grins, nodding. Certainly. We could do that. It's just the way you speak about your father and your home. It is selfish for me to monopolize you as I have, and not know your people as you know mine. You peer up at him through your lashes. I am glad to be monopolized. Still. I'm not sure I'm prepared to face them, after everything. Perry's brow furrow. Them? I thought it was just you and your father. I should explain about Daniel. It is, mostly. He raises an eyebrow. There is also a local boy, Daniel. He works in the stables. We grew up together. And? You fiddle with your skirts and avoid his eye. And for a time it was assumed that we would marry. He lets out a noise that you fairly sure is a growl. And what happened? Well, after the guy was a complete just piece of work, and he's like, I can't accept you because you're damaged goods. He was not so much interested anymore. Barry's hands ball into fists. You place a soothing hand on his arm. It was not so much that he did not think me worthy. Then what was it? Guilt, and a loss of what used to be. Your virginity? I'm sorry, you know what? And I've known women who have gone through this, and I know there are men who treat them completely different, or who disregard what has happened to them. And no. Just go yourself. If a woman has had something like this happen to them, it's something most guys will never know. Will never experience. Unless you've been victimized yourself. Maybe that's why I'm able to more or less give a shit more about women and issues than most. In hindsight, I understand it. Barry's eyes darken. Is he handsome? Not as gorgeous as you. I had to brighten the mood. We went dark there for a minute. Anyway, you laugh and then see that it is quite serious. He is. Are you jealous? Me? No, not at all. He works the land, so he must be quite strapping. Well, Beth? Barry, And clever, I imagine, if your father loves him. Barry, no, You must understand his issue with me after... It was the best possible thing to happen. Without his rejection, I would have never gone running to London. You smile. And I would have not found you. Barry pulls you closer into his chest. And that would have been a tragedy for us all. He runs a thumb over your brow. You feel his hardness against you. Barry, let's christen. Your brother is right next door. Your protest is feeble. He's moved on to nibbling your ear. We'll just have to be very, very quiet then. There's no arguing there. I like Perry. I really liked him. Oh my god. Okay, so for instance, like I said, and I said this last week, when this first came out, we thought, okay, Francine and Gideon are going to be the main thing, and then, yeah, there'll be the side relationship that most books just don't give a flying about. And lo and behold, it has actually turned out to be more or less Lilly and Perry. I'm finding more and more I like this relationship. I like everything about it. And it's like Gideon and Francine are just this relationship. We're like, okay, that's cool. I want to get to Lilly and Perry this week. And it's really enjoyable. It's kind of, I have to say, it's really well written. It's well done. And I know people who have actually went out and got the book, actually. And I suggest to any of you, unless somehow my opinion changes in the next 4 or 5 chapters, I doubt. But I have drastically loved the 24 chapters, well, 23, that we've done. And we've got 4 more. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head to the description below, links to social media or Discord, and if you like to support me and my content. Without further ado, I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.